May I come in, sir?
Come. Kanika, have your seat.
Thank you, sir.
Very young, you do BA Honours in Political Science from Lady Shri Ram College.
Yes, sir.
And then in the first attempt also, you reached the interview stage.
Yes, sir.
What happened? Then you scored less in the written part.
So I scored less in PSIR in written part in essay, and then I scored a little low in interview as well.
Achha, what was your score in the interview?
160, sir.
160. 160 is not bad in interview. Then how was your score in PSIR?
So I scored 220 in PSIR.
And the essay?
In the essay, I scored 101. Yes.
That combined. Which is your favorite subject? In the GS or in the PSIR?
I like studying about international relations, sir.
International relations.
Yes, sir.
Why we are becoming friendly with Australia?
So,
What is the core reason that Australia and India are becoming friendly?
So the core reason would be the geopolitical reality or in the Indian Ocean region that we both are embedded in. Other reasons, if to list out, are the economy, diaspora, resource, and both of the countries ensuring that Indian Ocean is.
Why are you shy of not taking the name of China?
China is a part of a geopolitical reality.
But you said geopolitical reality, you didn't take the China. Both anti-China, that is why. That's all. Let us face the reality. In the interview also, you are not taking the name. You are becoming very diplomatic. Why so?
So in my view, China is a problem as you listed out. And
The
both are.
major region for Australia and India becoming friendly is China.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other major region? Tell me. Is the diaspora the major region?
So the major reason is the geopolitical reality that is being shaped by the rise of China.
In geopolitical reality, what is the major region? In
the rise of China, sir.
The rise of
Yes,
China.
sir.
That is the major reality. Why we are not becoming then member of AUKUS?
So because India go by the policy of strategic autonomy, the AUKUS can allow us to have external balancing, which Australia is looking forward for. But India is looking forward for a multi-alignment policy, would look forward for more peaceful and integral Indo-Pacific region. And if China is ready, we would also like to have normal relations and ensure that the world arises together as one earth, one family and one future, sir.
Can India-China be friends in the next 20-25 years? In any next 20-25 years?
So friends, a little difficult, but if both the countries decide on the principles of peaceful coexistence, there can be a modest
Can it be possible?
between.
Yeah, you can decide, but can it appears to be possible in the today's geopolitical situation?
It is a less of a possibility in the shaping geopolitical situation because China is adopting wolf warrior, aggressive kind of diplomacy.
Why is it?
Also, it is being expansionist.
Why is it adopting that policy? Why is it not becoming friendly with India? India extended a very, very friendly hand, especially the present Prime Minister is very fond of China. The helping hand was extended, but then China has always adopted an unfriendly attitude towards India. Why so?
So one reason is the strategic culture of China that is shaped by the Middle Kingdom syndrome. Second is China is because democracy is prevalent in India and China being a dictatorial regime, in China always fears that if such kind of, if there can be extension into the Chinese, then there can be impact to the structure that has been led by the Communist Party of China, sir. Also, Chinese believe more strongly in imperialistic security dilemma shaping their foreign policies.
Any other region would you think of?
So, one region, any other region would be Mearsheimer's offensive diplomacy or offensive mode of conduct, where a state power thinks that offense is the best mode of having defense and a power maximizing philosophy that has been adopted by the Chinese state.
How is the domestic functioning, say functioning of an IS officer, gets affected by the international relations?
International relations shape the way a state is going to conduct itself to the world. And an IAS officer ensures that the policies are implemented on the ground and they shape the country as a whole, so that the country stand stronger and be more strengthened on the international sphere. Secondly, sir, international relations impact the working of an officer when we are collaborating
I am
with...
more concerned with how the international relations affect the working of an IAS officer in the district.
So one, the security aspects and ensuring the law and order. Second, the trade aspects, collaborating with different countries and promoting investment
I
in the
don't
region.
promote. I have been collector. I don't promote the international trade. I don't promote anything. But it affects me. Any international relations do affect me in the district.
Yes, sir.
In my district working, I want to know if you can give me some idea as to how they affect the district working.
So right now I can think of the law and order impact and the...
You see, the international relations did affect me once I had to go for rationing of petrol.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Rationing of petrol. I had to go for rationing of petrol. Why? Because of the international relation. International trade route or whatever it is. Similarly, the industry can get affected in the district.
Yes.
Some raw material absolutely is not available.
Yes.
And the industry gets affected.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Sorry, sir, I could not think.
No issue. You are a political science student. Yes. I somehow want to abolish Rajya Sabha. I don't think that it is serving any purpose. Is there any bar in the constitution to abolish Rajya Sabha? I want to abolish. I am a strong Prime Minister. I want to abolish Rajya Sabha. Any debar in the any constitutional provision which debars me from abolishing Rajya Sabha.
Sir, the structure, I'm unable to think of the concrete provision, sir, but the structure of the parliament constitutes of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the president.
But I can amend the constitution. I can amend that is what I will do. In any case, abolishing of Rajya Sabha will need the amendment of the constitution. I will amend the constitution. I have 50% of the states with me. I will have their consent also of the states.
Sir, I think Rajya Sabha may be a part of basic structure, but I would have to revise on the points. But it will constitute the basic structure of the parliamentary democracy that India is.
But that basic structure will only come into play if somebody goes to the Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
That is not in the way of abolishing the Rajya Sabha by at least passing the parliament law. Is it?
So,
true?
Article 13.
Is it true?
Article 13 allows for judicial review and we should not be...
Yeah, it is after that. The judicial review cannot come at the time of the introduction of the bill.
Then the bill also has to go through Rajya Sabha.
On the bill, no. Will have to go through the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha will also pass it. It's my majority, my party. What is so good about IAS that everybody somehow wants to come into the IAS. 100 seats, 10 lakh people are appearing for and everybody wants to come into the IAS. What is so good about the IAS?
IAS is good as a service because it allows one to work on ground with people. A lot of people would like to implement the policies that they have been seeing in their daily lives and give their contribution. For me personally, I'd like to contribute to the Amrit Kal vision of India and see a developed India by 2047, and that attracts me to IAS.
Why the Deputy Commissioner in Kaithal is called Deputy Commissioner, not Collector and not District Magistrate?
So
he is not called District Magistrate, he is not called Collector, he is called Deputy Commissioner. Why so?
So as per my limited understanding, that's the terminology being adopted by the Haryana government.
Why? Why that terminology has been adopted?
Because he is deputy to the commissioner who heads the division.
Okay, then why he is not called District Magistrate and Collector?
Because we under Article 50 of the Constitution, there is a separation of power provision where it said...
He is in any case District Magistrate also.
Yes, sir.
He is also Collector, but he is not called Collector or District Magistrate in common parlance. He is called Deputy Commissioner, while in Aligarh he is called District Magistrate. In Bihar he is called collector. Why so?
So as far as I can think at present, though I'm not aware about the provision, it's because the government wants to emphasize more on the commissionerate role and bringing all the departments together and working for the same. Also under the overall command of the commissioner and implement the policies on ground.
Okay. Which district magistrate or which deputy commissioner in Kathal you would like to emulate?
So I'd like to emulate the former deputy commissioner, Srimati Mona I. Srinivas.
Why? What quality she had that you would like to emulate?
So she inspired me actually to take up she was the deputy commissioner around 2013 2014 when I decided that I should be getting into civil services, and she was always working, consistently working. She ensured that she took concrete steps in ensuring water availability, tap water availability connection program were taken. Thirdly, she was visiting schools on a consistent basis so as to promote girl education, as an important program was also being forwarded by the Haryana government at that time. And this is what I can think right now, sir.
Yes, Kanika, I would like to, Honorable Chairperson, while answering the question, you said international relation is your interest area. So I want to understand something from you. World has around 87% of Sunni population, dominated by most of the Islamic country, 13% Shia, fine. So Iran and Saudi Arab, it's not really Iran, Saudi Arab, because of mediation by China, Iran, Saudi Arab have come closer. It's very surprising for me because it's not a union of two countries, it's a union of Shia Sunni. And China will have upper hand thereafter. Earlier, US was taking advantage of Shia Sunni division. How will you make me understand how China played role in taking Saudi Arab and Iran together? What do you think?
So more from a Shia-Sunni conflict, China took upper hand from the US because firstly, US had neglected West Asia. Second, because
but
of
that
the...
way, Kanika, I would say China is against, see the regular Muslim in China, they are subjected to severe torture.
Yes.
Then how can China could win confidence of this Sunni population? I'm not able to understand really, I tell you. So as I got to know you are, it is your interest area, I thought better I should understand from Kanika.
So it took benefit of it took the Sunni population into confidence because of the vulnerabilities that they were facing, because of instability in West Asia.
Charity begins from home, Kanika. When the China itself is torturing Sunnis like anything, how could China take Sunni into confidence? I'm not able to understand really. How could Saudi Arab got into confidence of China?
So more because geopolitical realities dominate international relations than the religious.
Kanika, that much I know. I want to understand from you what are the igniting factor. If you're not comfortable, I will leave. I will ask some other. No issue at all. But I wanted to understand from you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, leave it then.
No.
Leave it. No issue. You in political science you are.
Yes.
So I'm asking, I'm very keen to join civil service. What are the safeguards available in Indian Constitution for civil services, and in which article?
So
Tomorrow some officer, minister say, Madam, नौकरी खा जाएंगे हम आपकी, कहीं के नहीं रहेंगी आप. तो आप क्या बोलोगे उनको? How will you speak to that honorable minister? Sir, please mind your language. I'm not your servant, I'm servant of government and I have safeguard. I'm not at your mercy, please. How will you speak to minister? On what article would you quote?
The safeguards have been guaranteed by Article
You speak to minister like
311 and 312 of the Constitution.
312 is creation of All India Service. 312 has nothing to do with safeguard.
It is
311. What's 311 says?
It says that if the control of the All India services is with the central government, Second,
All India services, it is referred as civil servant, it is referred. Civil services.
so I think I'd have to go through the provision.
So what safeguard it is?
That the office, that the person can be, so any action if to be taken has to be taken from the highest office. In case of if the person is with the central government, then
Which office can take action?
the governor's office in the state.
Can governor take action against IAS officer?
No, for the state civil services officer, sir.
No, you are IAS officer.
The President of India can take action.
Now, how can that minister will ask President of India, Honourable President, please take action against this IAS officer? You have safeguard.
Yes, sir.
So, what safeguard you have? That I want to understand.
So proper proceeding. So the President will take action
If you are
against.
not comfortable, leave this.
No, sir. I'll try to answer.
Okay,
The President is going to take action. So if the civil servant has committed any mistake, it's on the President who is going to take action against the person. And also the UPSC has to be
What
consulted for
action
the same.
President can take?
Can suspend the person, can also remove the
Can
person.
President suspend an IAS officer?
So I think I'd have to read.
Please read properly,
Yes.
because you were so keen to join civil service.
Yes.
Because I was listening to your points when you had been answering to Honourable Chairperson. So I got tempted to ask if Kanika should be IAS officer, but she should know the safeguard.
Yes, sir.
What will your fundamental rights shall be at par with me? Now I'm a common man. After joining civil service, will you enjoy the same fundamental right, or will have some restriction, or will you have some extension of fundamental right?
So there will be certain restrictions on me.
Restriction, like any one restriction you tell me. You may have done some homework.
Yes,
कि
sir.
एक मैं जब IAS बन जाऊंगी तो मैं ये नहीं कर सकती हूँ.
With respect to the freedom of speech and expression, I'd have to ensure that I'm not taking any stance that impact the functioning or my role as an officer, sir.
Okay. So
Also, I'm not getting into any association. With the freedom to form an association, I'm not forming.
you are fond of journal writing. Will you stop journal writing after becoming IAS?
I'll write my personal journals, but as an IAS officer, if that
Can
affects
you
the
put your
policy.
viewpoint on अमृत काल कि अमृत काल बहुत अच्छा है, इसको करना चाहिए? Would you be able to write that?
I'll be able to write about Amrit Kal if it's not affecting the policies of the government and the
Okay, Kanika,
law and
got
order
your point.
situation.
Just last question I ask you. You are very much, again, journal writing. What is term called stop press? In press, it is called, in print media, the term is called stop press. What is a stop press?
So I'm not aware of the term.
Okay. No problem. It's a last hour wait for media people, print media, for latest news. They leave space for latest news before the newspaper go for printing.
Thank you.
That is called stop press.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Kanika, when the Prime Minister went to Karnataka,
Yes, sir.
after that he announced the International Big Cat Alliance.
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
So I was not aware of his announcement about International Big Cat Alliance.
Okay. On what occasion did he go to Bandipur and Mudumalai?
So I'm not aware of it, but
Okay. Now tell me, Russia and Ukraine are fighting.
yes, sir.
What are the positive outcomes of this fighting? What the world has gained?
So I'd like to answer it on the lines of normal angels. War or a conflict,
line
normal
of?
angels, who says that war doesn't lead to any
No, I
benefit.
need your opinion. Your opinion.
So my opinion, sir, would be war doesn't lead to any benefit other than creating orphans and destitutes. But to see it in normal or apparent terms, it has led to advances in military technology. For the first part, it was looking that Europe is emerging as a strategic, or the break that had come to Europe because of Brexit, it is formulating its own perspective. And now with strategic autonomy, it's also looking forward for a new multipolar world and not a bipolar scenario with US and China in line. And
else?
thirdly, sir, I think India as a global leader. Now, with the war, India is, the global south has more confidence in India to push forth his concerns on
What
the global
else?
stage.
Anything industry, anything in manufacturing, economy.
In economic sphere, sir, the states have realized that the supply chain vulnerabilities remain high, and they have to ensure that supply chain diversification
In
is
which
there.
respects?
With respect to oil and gas industry.
Okay.
Yes.
What are the options available?
Don't you think Saudi Arabia-Iran relationship is also Russia-Ukraine war outcome?
Yes, sir, that has it's underpinned.
What your answer?
Yes.
One of the outcomes is Shia Sunni
Yes.
getting together only because of this war.
Yes.
Yes.
Agriculture, something in agriculture.
Yes, sir. For the hydropower sector, for oil and gas vulnerability which emerged during Russia-Ukraine war, India itself has launched National Hydrocarbon Mission, National Green Hydrogen Mission, sir, and renewable battery manufacturing facilities have also been worked out, and we are also launching PLI schemes. We are also furthering PLI initiative on that. For agriculture, sir, because wheat and other grain exports were hampered because of this. Now the world is moving forward for diversification of inputs. India is also ensuring that its productivity of the crops increases. Second, with millets, India has forwarded that it can be the global
So
crop.
you said so many benefits and the list is still going on. Do you think that war is good for us?
The war is not good for
Why?
us, sir.
There is so much benefit, so much productivity. We are exploring the options.
You
We were
didn't stop
dependent
at
on
the,
Russia
you
and
didn't
Ukraine.
stop at the benefits, and then you think war is not good for India.
I think they should continue fighting so that we can live peacefully.
So there have been repercussions of the war also.
Let them be. I am concerned about my self-interest. The interest of my country is important for me. I will like them, let them quarrel, let them fight. We shall continue to grow.
So
That's how Japan came after World War II.
in my view, if we let them fight, then China is going to rise, and that will be harming our interest. So it's better to allow them to have a way for dialogue and diplomacy and not fight and stop the fight, sir.
Kanika, you are from Lady Shri Ram College, such a famous college. Why a masculine name? Lady Shri Ram should be Sita. Ma Sita College, it should be.
So it could have been Srimati Phulan Devi College because she was Lady Shri Ram, wife of Lala Shri Ram.
Okay.
But he took
What?
precedence of Lady Irwin, Lady Harding College, which were prevalent at that time, and thus he named this college. So
Why it is Shri Ram then?
Lala Shri Ram is an industrialist philanthropist
Okay,
who
fine.
founded.
Why Sri Ram? Why not Phulan Devi?
There could have been certain undertones, but the way he was committed to forwarding the cause of women education, I think he was more looking forward to ensure independent women,
Fine.
which the institution has came out with. Sir.
Okay, so, political science. Plato's philosopher king
Yes.
is an utopian king. But in reality, in history showed some kings, some persons, some rulers emulating Plato's philosopher king. What do you say?
Plato's philosopher king is taking decisions on the basis of knowledge and his own wisdom on the ground. It said that a person wiser is not to take account of book, rather of his own knowledge spectrum. Some leaders are emulating him and have delivered on ground because of their commitment to the same. But we have also seen fallouts of Platonian philosopher kings, as we can see the North Korea dictatorial regime, Stalin leading Russia, and then the collapsed structure as a result. And also in the Middle East, because of the kingdoms being prevalent there, we have not seen that kind of development, it being behind in social parameters, women not coming forward, sir. So it's a mixed game. A few leaders are able to deliver, but it's always better to have Aristotelian mode of government, where it's not always we are taking worldly wise decision and not only wise decisions.
But Plato takes a lot of philosophy,
Yes, sir.
lot of training for building up his philosopher king.
Yes, sir.
Education, music, mental development, physical development, legal, all round comprehensive personality development, and at the same time without any self-interest to become a philosopher king.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree?
So he trains the philosopher king in education and his always inquisitiveness to acquire more knowledge. But he fails to train the king in administration, in implementing, in leading and representing people, and also having a practical approach to the worldly things, so that there can be a incremental mode of approach instead of a whole-scale social engineering that Plato is forwarding through his policies.
Hegelian.
Is he copying any Indian philosopher or Indian political scientist? Plato?
His philosophy can be equated with the philosophy of Manu, sir.
I don't know. Anyway, Socratean dialectics became different shape when Hegel used the tool. Do you agree?
So I'm unable to comprehend the
Dialectics as a methodology,
Yes, sir.
Socrates used.
Yes, sir.
Hegel also used.
Yes, sir.
Both are different in the interpretation, the usage of dialectics. How do you say?
So Socratic dialectics were more concentrated towards purifying the knowledge or developing the best of knowledge when faced with. It is when we are doing filtration kind of thing. But when Hegel did, he led it to the state and said that the state is the march of the god on the earth, and his dialectic led to the supremacy
We are
of the
talking
state
about
structure.
the tool, the methodology. Dialectics is used in education since ages.
Yes, sir.
It is a very
Yes.
powerful tool to understand any administration
Yes.
also. What is the relevance of dialectics in development administration? Can you guess?
Yes, sir. Dialectics allow a person to think on both the parameters and then formulate a policy to a better understanding.
Okay.
If a policy is there, and then we can further, it always provides a ground to improvise. And
Thesis, antithesis, and
Yes, sir.
synthesis.
I was
Okay,
unable
that you should say.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, it is incomplete.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
How could United States always keep all the scenes of war so far after the Second World War, especially after Pearl Harbor, all the scenes of war away from its neighborhood? What do you think? How could they do?
After the World War II, sir, it could do firstly because of the doctrine of MAD which was implemented, or the nuclear power or the nuclear test which USA carried out. The geography which has always helped the US to stay away from conflict, now it's waning its ground, and US has started impacting, as seen from the Mexican Wall, or Nicaragua and Cuba taking a different stand with respect to Russia. Also the emergence of China in Latin America. So that has started creating threats to the US, sir.
Okay. So multipolar world, it is not so effective? Do you think so? In the multipolar world, which is more or less seen now,
Yes, sir.
emerging multipolar world, US is not able to do the same kind of strategy?
In the multipolar world, it will be more effective, sir, if led by Indian principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where all the instead of cutting each other, the world powers come together and take world towards peace and prosperity.
What is the defense budget we are spending? If we are believing in Vasudhaiva
Yes, sir.
Kudumbakam, why don't we spend it for education and health? Why defense?
So because stronger India is important for stronger world.
It is a power game again. So, Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, is it a foreign policy instrument?
Yes, sir.
It is only a vision, I would say.
Yes, sir.
Maybe an ideal vision. Okay, sir. You think of it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Kanika, tell me what kind of pranayam do you practice?
So I
Very
practice
briefly.
4 pranayamas, one Kapalbhati, second Anulom Vilom, then I do Bhramari pranayama, and last is Udgit pranayama.
Geet. Okay. What is Bhramari?
Bhramari,
How does it benefit?
it benefits the respiratory system.
All of
improves-
them? All of them? Kapalbhati?
Yes, sir, they all have impact on the respiratory health as well. But Bhramari
And how much
targets
time one is supposed to practice them? Each one?
each
And
one.
what happens, suppose somebody is practicing pranayam
Yes.
thinking about something else? Does it offer benefit or not?
It won't offer any benefits, sir.
It won't offer. But is it practically possible that your mind can be static while doing the pranayam?
It can be.
You got my point?
It can be focused, sir, to a certain extent, and pranayamas themselves help through breath control and focusing on this part of the nose. We bring the thoughts to a certain level to ensuring that the more focus on the breath and the inner flow of energy.
Okay. Acha, tell me, the technology is very important for the governance.
Yes, sir.
How the technology has made ease in the governance?
Yes, sir. So one, utilizing the digital public goods, UPI, Aadhaar, CoWIN, 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐢𝐚, Saksham platform, we have been able to deliver better on health education and other parameters. Second, technology allow us to formulate policies by looking at the data that is being generated from the government programs and improvise them further. Thirdly, so technology is a disruptor, and if we are banking on technology as we did in 1990s, and now we are looking forward to Industrial Revolution 4.0, India will be able to garner more strength and utilize its demographic dividend better, sir.
Acha, tell me, what do you understand by inflation and what are the reasons for fall of Silicon Valley Bank?
Yes.
Can we derive certain lessons from it?
Yes, sir. Inflation in the recent times have been because of the geopolitical problem that has been going in Russia-Ukraine, because of the rising fuel prices as the countries have decided to go for cuts. Second, because of the economic revival and the demand that we saw, and because of that the prices increased. Thirdly, sir, because of the rate of interest increasing, there has been an inflationary tendencies being showcased as well. The industrial production, though has increased, has to be increased to a greater extent to curb inflationary tendencies. What was the second question, sir?
Silicon Valley Bank.
Yes, sorry, sir.
What are the reasons for fall of Silicon Valley Bank?
The reasons for the fall of Silicon Valley Bank, sir, majorly it has been the bank run because of the people withdrawing their money from that had been deposited to the Silicon Valley banks.
Is it that the reason or there is some other reason?
So I would have to read on that, I think.
You have to read on
Yes,
that.
sir.
Acha, tell me, it is often felt that in most of the democracies, policies are disproportionately favored to affluent class. Do you agree with this?
So in my view, when we are building a democracy, we are establishing rule of law and thus not formulating policies favorable to affluent class, but rather ensuring justice, social, economic and political to all.
Okay. My last question. What provisions have been made in the budget so that the country meets last mile?
So reaching the last mile is one of the goal under Saptarishi. The provision that have been made under this is one specific target program for the tribal classes. The budgetary allocation to Ministry of Tribal Affairs has been increased. Second, more infrastructure and development efforts to the northeast, and budgetary allocation under PM Divine has also been increased, sir. Second, the agricultural support has been increased. We are looking for a digital mode of agriculture with millet production and all, so that our food scarcity is not there, and we can produce better. Also, more we can tackle the climate goals as well. And fourthly, sir, to utilize our demographic dividend, we have made better allocation to skilling and all, sir. This is what I can recall right now, sir.